Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes and welcome back to Economy Lecture Series. Today in this lecture, we are going to start the next chapter of Sanjeevama. The name of that chapter is Towards Inclusive Growth, and this topic mainly covers growth and development. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss 2.1, which is mainly related to the growth. And in the next lecture, we are going to deal with this development. So first of all, let us try to understand this growth. What is the meaning of the growth? Growth in simple words, we can say increasing, or we can say that is leading to the growth and development. So the growth in a simple terms, that means increase. So what is the meaning of the growth rate? Whenever we are reading newspapers or any other economy NCERT, we come across this word growth rate. Here the growth rate, it refers to the percentage change of specific variable within a specific period of time. So this is called as a growth rate. So let us see in detail what is written in Sanjeev Verma regarding this growth rate. So let us see this. So if you see this growth rate of Indian economy, it is slowing down. That means if you see there is a one base year, whenever we are comparing this growth rate of this year with this previous year, then we can say that there is increase or decrease. But if you see recent days in India, the growth rate, it is slowing down. So after slowing down, whenever this slowing down will be continued, then that is called as a contraction of output. That means there is shrinking of the output that is seen. So if at all this contraction that continued over 2 quarters, then this is called as recession. So what is recession? Recession in simple words, it means the contraction that continued over 2 quarters. It is called as recession. And whenever you see the long periods of recession, then this condition is called as depression. So if you see in the world economy, we experienced the global depression mainly in the year 1929 to 1933. So in these years, we faced the global depression. So this is the sum of the introduction regarding this growth rate. Let us try to understand this growth in deeper. So growth, which plays an important role in the economy. So whenever we are seeing when there is increased growth, so when is the increased growth, that means the increased output. So whenever there is increased output, there is also increased income to the factors of production. So with these increase in the income of these factors of production, it is again sets of the circular further increasing of the income. So let us try to understand this circular motion of this increase in the income related to this increase in the growth. Whenever there is increase in the income, and we can see there is increase in the purchasing power of the people. That means if I have 100 rupees in my hand, I will go and I will buy an half kg cake. So if at the same time, whenever my income which is increased to 500 rupees, then with that 500 rupees, I will go to the market and I will take 1 kg cake. Correct? So whenever there is an increase in the income of that person, then purchasing power of that person will be increased. So if I have 100 rupees in my hand, I will go and I will buy half kg cake. But if at the same time, if I have the 500 rupees in my hand, I will go to the market and I will purchase 1 kg of cake rather than half kg. So in that case, whenever my income is increasing, my purchasing power will increases. For example, if I have 1000 rupees in my hand, I will go to market and I will buy only one saree. So if I have 5000 rupees in the hand, then if I go to the market, I will purchase 5 sarees. So in that way, the purchasing power which is mainly dependent on that income. So I hope it is clear now. So whenever the increase in the income is happening, there is increased purchasing power of the people. And whenever there is an increase in the purchasing power, there is also increase in the demand for the goods and the services in the market. And whenever the increase in the demand, we also see there is an increase in the output. So whenever there is again increase in the output, that will again increase the income for these factors of production. That means again we see there is an increase in the income, and again whenever the income is increasing, I will also go for the savings in the bank, then it is also increasing the savings. And whenever the savings are increased, for example, if I saved a 10 lakh rupees, I will go to the market and I will buy a house for myself. So there will also increase in the investment as well. And whenever the investment is increasing, again there will be the increase in the output, and again there will be the increase in the outcome. So in this way we can see there is a circular motion, that is regarding the increase in the growth, that will leads to the increase in the output, and finally it will leads to the increase in the income. I hope you understand this cycle. Whenever you are writing about the increase in the income and increase in the growth, you can write this cycle as an example. Okay, so I hope it is clear now. Let us move further. So whenever we see there is an increase in the growth in economy, it mainly signifies this well-being of that economy. That means the increase in the growth, that which also leads to the increase in the well-being of that economy. So how? Whenever there is an increase in the growth, that means there is an increase in the purchasing power capacity. There will be increase in the demand for the goods and services, such that to produce those increased demand for these goods and services in the market, there will also recruit more people, mainly to meet the demand for the goods and services in the market by that particular manufacturer. So we can see there is a jobs that may be increased. There will be the increase of job creation, and also because of this increase in the demand, we can also see there is an increase in the output because of this increased manpower. And we also see again the income of these people will be increased. So the jobs can be created, and also on the other side income levels will increase, and finally leads to the overall wealth of the economy also increased. So in this way these are interlinked. So you have to understand this small concept in the economy, then only you will appreciate this economy. And for this very reason, every economy would like to increase its overall growth. So when they want to increase this overall growth, it is also linked to the well-being of that economy as well. So India was believed that till the reforms are initiated. So in 1991 we went for the economic reforms, that is liberalization, privatization and the globalization. So it is believed that before these reforms we are caught in a low growth cycle. So what is a low growth cycle? That means it is low level of incomes, and it is also leading to the low savings, low investment, and ultimately we can say there is a low output as well, and this is known as a low growth cycle. Before 1991 mainly India was seeing this low growth cycle. So what is this low growth cycle? That includes a low level of incomes and also low level of savings as well as low level of investments, and finally we see there is a low level of the output. So this cycle is called as a low growth cycle that we faced before the reforms in 1991. So one important thing that will come into picture, that is Hindu rate of growth whenever you are reading economy. So many economists, they say that Indian economy, it is a Hindu rate growth. So what is this Hindu rate of growth? So we are enabled to grow beyond this 3.5%. So what are the reasons? Because we have the low income and there is also increase in the population. So because of the increase in the population, we are also having the low income, and that is leading to the less employment or the unemployment, and as well as the poverty. So when we see these conditions like low income and increase in the population as well as the poverty and employment, and that leading to the growth which is not beyond the 3.5%, then this type of the growth, it is called as Hindu rate of growth. So this is very important concept regarding the means. So if you see in this Hindu rate of growth, there is an inability of an economy mainly to increase the growth rates it is not only because of the low savings and the low investments, but we can also see there is a lack of resources, lack of technology, and the lack of infrastructure as well. So what are the reasons that are leading to this Hindu rate of growth? That is low savings with the people and low investment and the lack of resources, lack of technology and lack of infrastructure. These all are the things that are contributing to the Hindu rate of growth. Okay, so this is about the Hindu rate of growth. So let us see the changes after the reforms. So if you see in the 21st century, the growth it is good in India and the growth rates had started moving upwards, and onward they are on verge of achieving even 2 digits growth, and this is probably for the first time, except maybe a year briefly in 1980s. So what is this saying? In the 21st century after the reforms, we have increased our growth is happening and it is reaching or achieving the double digit growth as well. So one problem that we find in India is, though we are growing, that is we are having the growth rates and these growth rates are increasing, but these are not perceptible to impact. That means though there is a growth in the economy that is seen, we are going to achieve the growth in the 2 digits, but there is no impact on the poverty, unemployment, inter or intra-regional and income imbalances. So in these areas regarding the poverty, unemployment and the regional and the income imbalances, we do not have any impact though we have increased our growth. So despite of the having high growth in India, despite of high growth which is achieved in India, we have not have a desired results on this poverty and unemployment and also regional and income imbalances. So there has been a distinct deceleration in the growth that happened since 2010, and there is a sliding down to the lowest in the decade of 4.4%. And in the present situation, this COVID-19, we can further see the contraction of the economy of the India because of the increase in the expenditure to fight against COVID-19. And also there are many challenges that are facing by the India. If you see across the border with the China in the LAC region, there is a military standoff and the neighborhood is not good. And India is going for the investment in the Mauritius, Maldives. So in this way, we can see there is a contraction of the economy that is seen in India in this financial year. So one important thing that you should remember here is, though we are achieving the growth, but we are not getting the desired results, mainly regarding the poverty, unemployment. So mainly to address this question, we have to move to the next part of this chapter, that is development. So there is a difference between the growth and the development. That difference you should understand as a student of economy. Okay. So in the next lecture, we are going to see the development and we are going to see what is the difference between the growth and development and how can we achieve this development or the inclusive growth. So this is about this lecture. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel. Please do like, share and comment my videos. For the notes, please refer Sanjeev Amma. Thank you.